Story begins with the helmet, once worn with pride, now left behind, collecting ash and dust. The owner wipes them clean, almost like brushing away the ghost of the past. Sitting alone, he stares downward, lost in thought before slowly lifting his gaze. An empty track stretches before him. The wind swings the trees, and the sky above feels endless, but also distanced. It was a reminder. The world kept moving. Racing carried on, but he was no longer a part of it. Out on the track, the roar of engines filled the air. Other drivers flew past, pushing their cars to the limit. He wasn't one of them anymore. He only watched, as others lived the thrill he once knew. A stage crash on a circuit echoed the accident that ended his run. It wasn't his crash this time, but it brought back the pain all the same. He had been broke once, not just by injury, but by the silence that followed. On a bench he lay in solitude, like a forgotten hero and an old poster. But what he sat in the shadows left one on. Friends gathered, smiling for photos, sharing and enjoying. At first he kept his distance, yet when they called him over, he joined. For the moment, he remembered what it feels like to belong. Then came the climb back, not behind the wheel, not yet, but on two wheels, on the open road. Each uphill climb, each mile conquered, was morning training. It was rebuilding. The road burned his legs, sweat pouring down, but every ride pushed him further from the wreckage of his past. It wasn't just cycling, this was war against himself. A fight to reclaim discipline, strength, and the will to endure. And slowly, piece by piece, the man who once raced began to return. Off the track, there were laughs, meals, and shared moments with friends. The road to recovery wasn't one he traveled alone. Their encouragement reminded him that life wasn't only about winning, but about showing up and trying again. Finally, the day came. The track waited. With steady hands, he tightened the helmet straps, checked the cart, and mounted the camera. The engine would roar again, not just for competition, but for redemption. The race began from the first-person view. The track unfolded like an old memory come alive. Corners, streets, overtakes. It was as if the years melted away. Every spin tested his nerves. Every rival reminded him of what he has lost. But each lap told him something else. He was still here. He was still racing. Friends cheered trackside, voice racing above the roar of engine. The fear that once held him back was replaced with determination. It wasn't about the injury anymore. It wasn't about the past. It was about the present, the thrill, the fight, the pulse of life surging again. At last, the final lap, he crossed the line, slowing the cart, parking with steady control. The race was over, but this time, there was no silence waiting. On the podium, he stood in third place, not atop, But it didn't matter, because this was more than a medal, more than a trophy. This was proof that he could fall, break, and still rise again. A comeback not for glory, but for himself. And for the first time in a long time, he smiled.